Carla returned to work on Monday, getting flanked by Lila and Tim wanted to know if she felt better. They heard she had a bad case of flu. Carla could only laugh to herself and wonder who came up with that lie. But she took it and ran with it. Aw, y'all, so sweet. I really miss y'all too. I feel much better now. Justin stood in the doorway of his office, one hand on the frame, the other tucked in his pocket. Amy, can you step in for a second? She grabbed her tablet and walked in, expecting another meeting reshuffle or a contract to review. What's on your calendar for this afternoon? He asked. She blinked. Nothing. All your meetings are caught up. The board packet is finalized, and I'm pretty much caught up on everything. It's going to be a calm one. Good, Justin said, closing his laptop with a decisive click. You and I are going to take a 3-hour lunch. Amy froze. Then she stared at him like a sinkhole had just swallowed the White House, the Pentagon, and half of D.C. all at once. I'm sorry, she said slowly. A what? A 3-hour lunch, he repeated, as if this were a normal sentence he said on a normal Tuesday. Amy's mouth fell open. Sir, are you dying? No. Are we dying? No. Is the building on fire? Did the stock crash? Did Carla? Amy. She snapped her mouth shut. Justin grabbed his coat. I need to step out for a bit. You're coming with me. She stared at him, eyes wide, voice barely above a whisper. Oh my God, you're in love. Justin stopped mid-stride. Amy. She pointed at him like she'd cracked a national secret. You're absolutely in love. That's the only time men do stupid, spontaneous things like this. He sighed, rubbing his forehead. Can you just get your coat? Amy grinned, grabbing her bag. This is the best day of my career. The valet pulled his car around. He opened the door for Amy to get in. She was so excited. She had never been in her boss's car before. And lunch to boot. Oh, this was going to be so juicy good. Whatever it was, Amy kept sneaking glances at Justin across the table, like she was waiting for him to glitch. He wasn't checking his phone. He wasn't reviewing documents. He wasn't even pretending to multitask. He was relaxed. That alone was suspicious. Halfway through her salad, she finally said, Okay, sir, I need you to blink twice if you've been replaced by an alien. Justin smirked. I'm fine. No, you're weird. You're sitting here like a man who just got baptized, promoted, and kissed all in the same hour. Justin, we're not actually taking a 3-hour lunch. Amy froze. Oh, God, we are robbing a bank. No. Then what? Justin looked her dead in the eye. We're going ring shopping for Carla. Amy blinked. Once. Twice. Then her whole soul left her body. Amy slapped both hands on the table. Oh my God, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. People turned. Justin gave her a look. She lowered her voice by half a decibel. You're buying a ring. For Carla. Yes, Amy. She sat back, fanning herself with a menu. Lord, I need a minute. Justin's voice softened. I'm not doing it today. I'm not proposing today. I just want to be ready when the time is right. Amy stared at him, eyes suddenly warm. You really love her. He didn't smile. He didn't blush. He just said, quietly, Yeah, I do. Amy nodded, swallowing the lump in her throat. Okay, then let's go find the ring that matches the way you look when you say her name. Justin stood, tossing a few bills on the table. Let's go. Amy grabbed her bag. I swear, if you make me cry in a jewelry store, I'm suing for emotional damages. The bell over the door chimed softly as Justin and Amy stepped into boutique. It wasn't a mall jewelry store. This was the kind of place with velvet chairs, soft lighting, and glass cases that whispered expensive. Amy stopped dead in her tracks. Sir, she whispered, this place smells like generational wealth. I'm not dressed for this. Justin ignored her, walking straight to the counter with a calmness that made the jeweler perk up instantly. Good afternoon, the jeweler said, smoothing his tie. How can I help you today? Justin didn't hesitate. I'm looking for an engagement ring. Amy made a noise behind him, something between a gasp and a squeal, and the jeweler glanced at her like he wasn't sure if she needed water or security. Justin shot her a look. Behave. I am behaving, she whispered loudly. This is my behaved voice. The jeweler smiled politely. Do you have a style in mind? Justin paused. His voice softened. Something elegant, not flashy. Something that looks like her. Amy melted into a nearby chair. Oh, Lord, he's gone. He's absolutely gone. The jeweler pulled out a tray of rings, each one sparkling under the lights. Justin didn't even look at the biggest ones. His eyes went straight to a simple oval-cut diamond set in a thin gold band, timeless, warm, quietly stunning. He stared at it for a long moment. Amy shook her head. No. The jeweler pulled out another tray. Amy says no. Then the jeweler goes to the back and comes out with a simple box. He opens it and puts it on velvet. Amy is in awe. It's an engagement ring with 10 small stones, and the wedding band is topped with a beautiful stone that catches room's light and makes it glimmer. Amy leaned forward, whispering, That's her. That's Carla. That ring looks like she'd wear it with jeans and still look like a whole blessing. Justin picked it up carefully, turning it between his fingers. She doesn't like anything too loud, he murmured. She likes things that feel real. The jeweler nodded. This one is classic, understated, strong. Amy slapped a hand over her mouth. Oh my God! Oh my God! Justin ignored her again, but his voice was low, almost reverent. I'm not giving it to her yet. I just want to be ready. Amy stood, eyes shining. Sir, when you finally propose, I'm going to need PTO. I'm not emotionally stable enough to work that day. Justin actually smiled, small, but real. Noted. Justin reached into his pocket and pulled out of Carla's rings she wears all the time. The jeweler sizes it, and it's perfect for just like it is. Justin asked about engraving. The response, yes, we can provide it. It's not too many letters. What would you want to say, sir? Justin gave a smirkiest grin and said, tapping that ass forever. Amy's mouth flew open as she clasped her hands to her mouth. You can't be serious. The jeweler stands there, hands politely folded, expression neutral, or at least trying to be. Justin's wild engraving suggestion is still hanging in the air like smoke. Amy's hand is still half raised from slapping it over Justin's mouth. Justin is still grinning. And the jeweler, Lord, the jeweler is struggling. He clears his throat once. Then again. Then a third time. That one a little squeaky. His lips twitch. His nostrils flare. His eyes go wide like he's trying to blink the laughter back into his skull. Jeweler, tight smile. We typically recommend something more traditional. Amy nods aggressively. Amy, exactly. Something sweet. Something romantic. Something that won't get him divorced before he even gets married. The jeweler presses his lips together, so hard they almost disappear. He looks down at the velvet pad, like it's suddenly the most fascinating thing he's ever seen. Jeweler, yes, quite right, very wise. Justin leans an elbow on the counter, watching him with a smirk. Justin, you sure? You look like you could use a laugh. The jeweler inhales sharply through his nose, the kind of inhale that says, I am at work, I am at work, I am at work. Jeweler, sir, I assure you, I am maintaining full professionalism. Amy, no you're not. Your face is fighting for its life. The jeweler finally loses a battle for half a second. A tiny, strangled laugh escapes before he slaps a hand over his own mouth, like, oh no, not me too. He straightens his tie, clears his throat again, and tries to recover. Jeweler, ahem. Now, about the engraving you actually want. Justin softens, nodding. Justin, yeah, well, this is a real one. The jeweler exhales, still trying to maintain his composure. Said as you wish, sir. Justin said, great, when can I pick it up? Tomorrow, the jeweler said. As the jeweler boxed a ring, Amy leaned close and whispered, you know, Mrs. Johnson is going to scream when she finds out. Justin's smile widened just a fraction. She already knows. Amy blinked. How? She looked at me this morning, he said, simply, and she knew. Back in the office, Amy is so excited. She's all bubbly. Her smile just can't be hidden. Justin is watching her and decides she is the biggest giveaway and sends her home early. He's smiling at himself as well. Now he has to maintain himself in front of Carla for the ride home. The next day, Justin gets tied up in unexpected meetings all day long. So, he sends Amy to pick up the rings. Nothing seems to be going as scheduled. He tells her to take a company car, only none is available. She takes it upon herself to take the bus, only to get lost. It's quitting time. Still no Amy. Amy is on a bus that smells like old French fries and broken dreams. She's clutching the ring box to her chest like it's a newborn. She's tired. She's hungry. She's annoyed. She's lost. She calls Justin again. The call drops. She stares at her phone, like it personally betrayed her. Amy, Lord, just get me home before I throw myself into traffic. The bus driver glances at her in the mirror. Driver, ma'am, please don't. Justin is driving around like a man hunting for Bigfoot. He's checking every bus stop, every corner, every streetlight. Then he sees her. Amy is standing at a bus stop, hair frizzed from humidity, holding a half-eaten bag of chips, looking like she's been through a war. Justin slams on the brakes, so hard the car fishtails a little. Amy jumps. Amy, Jesus, you trying to kill me? Justin throws the car in park and gets out. Justin, get in the car. Amy, don't yell at me. I almost died 3 times today. Justin, where are the rings? Amy holds up the box like Simba in The Lion King. Amy, safe, because I'm a professional. Justin exhales so hard his soul leaves his body for a second. Amy gets in the passenger seat, buckles up, and immediately starts ranting. Amy, I took 3 buses. 3. One of them took me past a funeral home and a pawn shop. I thought that was a sign. Justin shakes his head, pulling back into traffic. Justin, why didn't you call me? Amy, I did. My phone died, then revived, then died again, like it was playing with me. Justin glances at her. Justin, you good? Amy looks out the window dramatically. Amy, I'm traumatized, but the rings are fine. He laughs, finally, the tension breaking. Justin, thank you, really. Amy gets in the passenger seat, buckles up, and immediately starts ranting. Amy nods, exhausted but proud. Amy, next time, send a car. A real one, not a bus. As they drive back, Justin keeps glancing at the ring box in her lap. He's quiet now, thinking, planning. Amy notices. Amy, you really love her, huh? Justin doesn't look away from the road. Justin, yeah, I do. Amy smiles, soft and knowing. Amy, then this whole disaster was worth it. The next day, the meeting is wrapping up. Numbers reviewed, projections discussed, hands already drifting toward laptops and coffee cups. Then Justin clears his throat. Everyone looks up. He doesn't ease into it. He doesn't soften it. He just says it. Justin, before we adjourn, I have something personal to share. Carla is pregnant. The reaction is immediate and unfiltered. Some board members freeze. Some exchange quick glances. 1 or 2 look down at their papers like they suddenly became fascinating. A few blink like they misheard him. Justin continues, steady and unapologetic. Justin, this wasn't planned. She had a birth control implant in place. It failed. We went to the doctor. She removed it. And the baby is fine. A low murmur ripples around the table. Not loud, but unmistakable. Concern, judgment, worry about optics. All of it. Justin raises a hand, and the room quiets. Justin, I know some of you are concerned about how this looks publicly. The fact that we aren't married yet. That, yet, hangs in the air. Justin reaches into a jacket and sets the ring box on the table. He doesn't open it. He doesn't need to. The gesture alone says everything. Justin, this is her engagement ring. I haven't asked her yet. I'm waiting for the right moment. A few board members shift in their seats. One clears his throat. Another looks like she's trying not to smile. Justin leans forward, hands clasped. So I'm asking you, ladies and gentlemen, when should my wedding take place? Confusion washes over the room. They look at each other like he just asked them to solve a riddle. Justin clarifies, calm but firm. From a company's standpoint, would it be better for the wedding to happen before she gives birth? Or after? I want your honest opinions. He slides a ceramic bowl to the center of the table. Write your answer on a piece of paper. No names. No pressure. Just your perspective. Put it in the bowl. I'll read the results out loud. The board members stare at him, some stunned, some impressed, some trying to figure out how they ended up in a corporate meeting that suddenly feels like a baby shower crossed with political vote. But one by one, they reach for their notepads. Pens start moving. A few hesitate. A few scribble quickly. One sighs dramatically before writing. They fold their papers and drop them into the bowl. The sound of each slip hitting the bottom is louder than it should be. Justin waits. Expression unreadable. The ring box still sitting in front of him like a par. The bowl sits in the center of the table like a centerpiece at a very uncomfortable dinner party. Justin waits until the last slip of paper drops in, then pulls the bowl toward him. No one breathes. He unfolds the first paper. Slip number 1. Before birth. Optics matter. A few board members nod subtly. He opens the second. Slip number 2. After birth. Rushing looks worse. Someone across the table shifts uncomfortably. Third slip. Slip number 3. Before. Stability is important for investors. Fourth. Slip number 4. After. Let her enjoy the pregnancy without pressure. Fifth. Slip number 5. Before. Public narrative will be cleaner. Sixth. Slip number 6. After. A wedding shouldn't be a PR strategy. Justin pauses. The room is dead silent. He looks up slowly, scanning the table. Some board members meet his eyes. Others stare at their hands. A few look like they regret writing anything at all. Justin sets the slips down in a neat stack. Justin, so it's mixed. A few people exhale, relieved he said it first. He taps the ring box with one finger, not opening it, just acknowledging it. Justin, I appreciate your honesty. Truly, but let me be clear. He sits back, voice steady. This child wasn't planned, but it is wanted. Carla didn't expect this, but she's handling it with more grace than I've ever seen. And I'm going to marry her, not because of optics, not because of pressure, but because I love her. A few heads lift at that. Justin, I ask for your opinions because I respect the responsibility we all share for this company. But the timing of my wedding, that's ultimately going to be about what's best for Carla, the baby, and our family. He lets that settle. Your votes tell me something important. There is no perfect time, no unanimous answer, and that's fine. He closes the ring box gently, then says, I'll choose the moment that honors her. And when I do, I expect this board to stand behind me, not because it's convenient, but because it's right. The room shifts, not loudly, but noticeably. Some nod, some soften, some still look unsure, but they're listening. The board's expressions fall into 3 clear groups. Supportive, those who smile faintly, relieved he's taking control of the narrative. Neutral but respectful, those who don't know what to think, but trust him enough to follow his lead. Concerned about optics, those who still look uneasy, calculating headlines and investor calls in their heads. But no one challenges him. No one pushes back. No one questions his authority. Justin has spoken, and the ring box sitting on the table makes it clear. This isn't a scandal. This is a future. The emotional undercurrent. As the meeting adjourns, a few board members approach him quietly. One offers congratulations. One says, you'll be a good father. One mutters, we'll manage the optics. One simply pats his shoulder and walks away. Justin pockets the ring box, exhales, and heads for the elevator, already thinking about Carla, the baby, and the moment he'll finally ask her. After the meeting, Justin calls his dad. Daddy, you busy? I need your opinion. I have a ring for Carla. My question is, when should the wedding be held? Before the baby or after the baby? Well, son, I think that should be up to you and Carla. A wedding can be so stressful for all involved. A pregnant woman planning a wedding and a birth at the same time. I'm not sure about that. However, what's best for the company? I think an engagement announcement is appropriate. Then set the date later. I took it to the board, so there wouldn't be any surprises. That was a smart move. What do they say, son? I had 3 befores and 3 afters. So they are mixed. I did tell them to make no mistake about it, that we were going to get married. Justin is having real hard time trying to find the right moment. After 3 attempted failures, he finally decides on church. Carla is always at her most peaceful when she is in service. That's it. He calls his parents and asks them to come down, then calls a pastor and solicits his help. He calls Mrs. Johnson and tells her it will be this coming Sunday. Amy can barely keep it to herself. However, by now the rumor mill is turning. The problem is keeping away from Carla. That evening, Carla is waiting for Justin. She has a few things she wants to discuss with him. Justin comes in and is surprised to see her still awake. Mrs. Johnson and Jared have moved back home, not feeling any threats from Ready Money now. Justin has takeout food. Carla is now way past her morning sickness and is now eating for two with a force. They sit at the table and Justin could tell there was something on her mind. So he said, "Get out." She looked at him and, "What are you talking about?" He said, "I can see those wheels turning in your head." "What is it?" She laughs, "And you are beginning to know me too damn well." "Okay, here it is." "Justin, my stomach is growing too fast for me to continue to hide it. Lila is already looking at me sideways, and Tim told me I was getting fat. I think it's time to let people know." He knew she was right and said with a sigh, "Okay, now for the hard one. You know, I still have my apartment. It's just sitting there collecting dust." He said, "Yeah, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. You are basically paying rent for a place you don't even occupy any longer. What I'm about to ask you is going to be hard." "What is it?" "I was thinking. I haven't heard from Ready Money since our last run-in. If he is on the up and up, if he is still staying with his cousin on 39th Street, and doesn't really have a place to stay. Justin, I see." "Carla, can you check and see if he's been showing up for work and trying to change? If he is, I would like to offer it to him and everything in it. It would still be in my name, but he would have to pay all the bills. This would help him get on his feet for real." "Justin, so after all that we went through with him, now you want to offer him your place?" "Why?" "Because, Justin, everybody need a hand up sometimes. He made bad decisions, and so did I. I had my mama to help me. Reddy don't really have nobody." Justin makes the call right there at the table. He finds out that Reddy has indeed tried to turn his life around, staying out of trouble and showing up every day and early. He's not staying with his cousin anymore. He's going to shelter because his cousin is selling drugs and got too many folks running in and out his house. His parole officer is trying to help him find a place as well. "Okay, man, thanks for the info." "No problem. I need 10 more like him." The call ended. Justin thought about it some more and said, "Okay." Carla smiled and said, "For real dough." Justin just chuckled and said, "For real dough." Carla was jumping all over him at this point. Justin said jokingly, "I don't know about this. You're getting all excited about your ex moving into your apartment. Carla, boy, please. I ain't letting nobody tap this ass, but you." Justin smiled and said, "Speaking of tapping that ass," he picked her up and she wrapped her legs around his waist and he carried her to their bedroom. "Carla, oh hell yes. You can tap this ass anytime you want," planting kisses on him along the way. They made love and fell fast asleep. It's a normal morning in the Hastings kitchen. Pans sizzling, orders being called, everybody in their rhythm. Carla is moving a little slower than usual, one hand on her lower back, but she's still cracking jokes and keeping the room alive. Tim notices first. He always does. He walks right up to her, eyes wide with concern and curiosity. Tim's question. "Tim, Carla, why are you getting so fat?" The whole kitchen freezes for half a second. Lila's head snaps around so fast her ponytail swings. Eric, who is pretending to wipe down a counter, suddenly stops mid-wipe and leans just a little closer. Carla blinks at Tim, hand on her hip. "Carla, excuse me?" Tim isn't being shady. He's being Tim, honest, literal, and trying to understand. He points gently at her midsection. "Tim, your belly. It's bigger. Like bigger, bigger." Lila folds her arms, waiting like she's front row to play. "Lila." "Yeah, Carla. Why is your belly bigger?" Eric doesn't say a word. He just raises his eyebrows and pretends to keep working. Carla's reaction. Carla takes a slow breath, then looks at Tim. "Carla, Tim, baby, I'm pregnant." Tim's eyes get huge. "Tim, pregnant? With a baby?" "Carla, that's usually how it works." Tim gasps, hands fly to his cheeks like he's in a soap opera. "Tim, Is it Justin's? Carla stares at him. Carla, who else would it be, Tim? Tim shrugs, relieved. Tim, okay, good. I like Justin. Lila is still staring, mouth open. Lila, girl, you pregnant? For real? Carla nods. Carla, for real. Lila squeals, grabs her by the shoulders, and shakes her gently. Lila, oh my God! When was you gonna tell us? Eric finally speaks, voice low and amused. Eric, I knew something was different. You've been eating them pickles like they're your last meal. Carla rolls her eyes. Carla, ain't nothing wrong with pickles. Tim is still processing, counting on his fingers. Tim, so you gonna be a mommy? Carla softens, her whole face warming. Carla, yeah, Tim, I am. Tim beams, big, proud, emotional. Tim, I'm gonna be the baby's friend. Carla laughs and pulls him into a hug. Carla, yes, you are. Lila wipes her eyes like she's not crying. Eric nods once, respectful. Tim is already planning what snacks he'll bring the baby. And Carla? She stands there in the middle of her kitchen family, nervous, excited, overwhelmed, but held. By the end of the day, the entire hotel knows. Justin knew he and Carla's secret was out when, in passing, everyone was congratulating him. He just smiled, and happy he didn't have to hide Carla again anymore. Later on that week, Carla and Justin go to Ready Money's job. Carla asks Justin if he would trust her enough to talk to Ready Money alone. Justin, you sure you want to do this alone? Carla, yeah, I need him to hear this from me. He nods. Then go ahead. I'm right here. She walks up on Ready Money and catches him by surprise. He turns and sees Carla. The first thing he notices is her belly. A feeling washes over him that he can't explain. He looks back at her, really looks. And for the first time in a long time, he sees her not as the girl he used to run behind, not as the mother of his son, not as the woman he disappointed, but as somebody who has moved on, somebody who is building something new, something he's not part of, and it hits him in the chest. Ready Money, quiet. It's his. Carla doesn't flinch, yes. He nods slowly, like he already knew but needed to hear out loud. You look different. Carla, I feel different. He rubs the back of his neck, eyes dropping to the ground. I ain't gonna lie it do something to me. Seeing you like that. Carla softens, but she doesn't step closer. She turns her head and takes a deep breath, knowing his emotions are showing and his pride is taking a hit. Carla, I didn't come here to hurt you. I came to talk. He nods again, swallowing hard. I'm listening. And for the first time in a long time, he means it. Look, I have practically moved in with Justin, and my place is just sitting there kind of empty. I know you've been trying to keep things on the up and on the for real tip. So what I'm saying is, you can have it. It'll stay in my name, 'cause I know you can't get a place right now in yours. You got to change the utilities over to your name and pay the rent, but it's yours for as long as you want or need it and everything in it. It ain't a whole lot, but it been my place for over 3 years, and it kept me off the streets and out of my mama house. Ready Money, why you doing this? 'Cause somebody helped me a few times. I see you trying. So I'm offering. If you ain't got too much pride to take it. Ready Money. Okay, bet. He reaches for her and gives her a warm, loving, and a letting go hug and a kiss on the cheek. She places a key in his hand and turns and walks away. At first her head is down, heavy with emotion, with memory, with the weight of what this moment means. But halfway back to the car, she lifts her chin, her shoulders square, her step steady, her spirit rises. She walks the rest of the way with her head held high. She doesn't turn back. Not once. Justin sees her coming. He sees a shift in her posture. He sees the strength in her walk. He doesn't ask what happened. He doesn't need to. He holds the door open for her to slide in. He then returns to his side of the car and gets in. Carla gets in, exhales, and rests her hand on her belly. Justin reaches over and takes her other hand. Justin, you good? Carla nods. Yeah, I'm good. The car ride is quiet. Carla is turned slightly toward the window, one hand resting on her belly, the other playing with the hem of her shirt. She's calm, settled, done with the emotional weight of the day. Justin glances over at her again, slow, lingering, almost in disbelief. Carla feels it before she sees it. She turns her head, squints at him. Carla, why you looking at me like that for? His voice is low, honest, almost awed. Justin, Carla, you are for real woman. Then that slow, proud smile spreads across her face. She lifts her chin, eyes warm and steady. Carla, that's 'cause I got it for real man. Justin exhales, not a sigh, but that quiet release a man gives when something settles right where it belongs. He reaches over and takes her hand, thumb brushing her knuckles. Justin, yeah, you do. And the rest of the ride is silent, but not empty. It's full of understanding, of peace, of the kind of love that doesn't need big speeches to be felt. That night before taking Jared back to Mrs. Johnson's, Carla starts to smile, then gestured over to Justin and Jared to come to her. Justin is kicked back on the recliner, finally still after a long day. Jared is sprawled out next to him, playing with his dinosaurs. They both look and come to her. Mr. Justin, look. Jared points to a weird ripple in Carla's shirt. She raises it, exposing her full belly. Carla stills her breath. Jared, come here. Put your hand right there. Justin, put yours right here. Jared's eyes wide. He presses his small, sticky palm against her stomach. For a few seconds, there's nothing. He starts to look skeptical, until a solid, rhythmic thump-thump pushes back against his hand. Jared pulls his hand back like he touched a hot stove, eyes the size of saucers. He's trying to get out. Does he have shoes on? Justin, laughing, pulling him back in. No shoes yet, little man. He's just saying he likes the sound of your voice. Justin returns to his chair with an unbeatable realization that his baby is in there moving around and kicking. It's real. The Hastings come into town, and they stay at Mrs. Johnson's house, not to ruin a surprise for Carla. Mrs. Johnson opens the door before they can knock. Mrs. Johnson, come on in, come on in. Don't stand out there like strangers. She hugs every single one of them like they're her own. The Hastings step inside and immediately feel it. That warmth, that welcome, that home feeling. The smell of something cooking. The sound of Jared's feet running down the hallway. Jared sees them and lights up. Jared, Grandma Denise, Papa Hastings. He runs straight into Mrs. Hastings' arms, and she scoops him up like she's been waiting all week. Mrs. Johnson's house fills up fast. Voices overlapping, kids laughing, chairs scraping, people passing dishes and stories around like they're all part of the same family. Yvonne and Mike come with their kids, and the house gets even louder, the good kind of loud. Mrs. Johnson stands back for a moment, taking it all in. Her living room is full. Her kitchen is full. Her heart is full. She wipes her eyes with a corner of her apron. Mrs. Johnson, Lord, look at this. I ain't had this much company since Carla was little. Mrs. Hastings puts an arm around her. Mrs. Hastings, you deserve it. You raise a good woman. Mrs. Johnson smiles, soft and proud. Mrs. Johnson, and y'all raise a good man. They share a look. Two mothers who understand each other without needing to say much. Orange Heart remembering where they came from. Later, when the kids are playing and the men are talking in the den, the Hastings drift into the kitchen with Mrs. Johnson. They sit around the table, the kind of table that's seen bills, prayers, homework, and hard conversations. Mr. Hastings Sr. looks around slowly. Mr. Hastings Sr., this feel like home. Reminds me of how we grew up. Mrs. Hastings nods. Mrs. Hastings, we didn't have much, but we had this. Family, food, love. Yvonne leans on the counter, smiling. Yvonne, sometimes you forget how far you've come until you sit in a room like this. Mike agrees, rubbing his chin. Mike, blessings hit different when you remember the struggle. Mrs. Johnson laughs softly. Mrs. Johnson, well, y'all are welcome here anytime. This house got room for all of you. And they believe her, because the love in that house is real, the kind that doesn't care about money, status, or titles. Just people, just family, just gratitude. Sunday arrives, and Justin is getting more and more nervous by the minute. Carla notices and asks him what's wrong with him. You look all stressed out. I'm all right. I guess I'm just remembering the first time I went to church with you. They both laugh. Carla, it gon' be all right. They used to you now. Once inside the church, the usher escorts them to the front of the church. Carla almost starts tripping, 'cause they know she don't like sitting in the front 2 rows. Justin, baby, we all right. Don't let it bother you. Carla tries to sit back and relax. Then she starts to look for her mama and Jared. Then Justin takes her hand to calm her and to keep her from looking back. The service starts to move along. Carla looks up and her mama and Jared sit down next to her. What she doesn't notice is that the Hastings, Amy, Lila, Tim, and Eric are behind, sitting in the pew behind them. Pastor Jenkins announces that they have a special treat for everyone today. Then he asks Carla Justin to come forth. Carla was totally shocked, thinking about her now protruding belly and all the women looking at her and their judgment. She stands and walks toward the front of the congregation, wondering why he's calling her out like this. Then Pastor Jenkins said, "Young man, you can come too." Justin walks up behind Carla. Then the pastor turns Carla towards him. Pastor Jenkins whispering, "I bet you have no idea why I called y'all up here, do you?" Carla's eyes get big. Carla, whispering back, "No, sir, I do not." He smiles, that knowing, fatherly smile, and with a soft touch he turns her body slightly so her back is to him and to the entire congregation. She doesn't understand why. Not yet. But the moment she's turned, she sees the faces in the pews shift, eyes widening, hands covering mouths, smiles spreading. She frowns. "Carla, what?" Behind her, Justin is already moving. He reaches into his jacket, pulls out the ring box, drops to one knee with a steadiness that comes from certainty, not nerves. The congregation gasps, a soft wave of sound rolling through the sanctuary. Carla's breath catches. She doesn't turn yet. She's frozen, sensing something behind her, something big, something life-changing. Pastor Jenkins whispers again, voice warm and full of joy. "Pastor Jenkins, turn around, baby." Carla slowly turns. And there he is, Justin, on one knee, looking up at her with a love so deep it makes her knees weak. Her hand flies to her mouth. Her eyes fill instantly. Her whole body trembles. The sanctuary is silent, holy, reverent, expectant. Justin opens a ring box. Justin looks up at her, eyes shining, voice steady but full. "Justin, Carla, you have changed my life. You've given me peace, you've given me joy, and now you're giving me a family. I want to spend the rest of my life loving you the way you deserve." Carla's tears spill instantly. Her hands tremble. Her belly rises and falls with her breath. He continues, softer now, but every word lands. "Justin, you are my blessing, my partner, my home, and I want to honor you, publicly, privately, every day of my life." He takes a breath. "Carla Justin, will you marry me?" The sanctuary is silent. No coughs, no whispers, and everything in Carla's world stops. No movement. Just her, just him, just a moment. Carla tries to speak, but her voice breaks. She covers her face, shaking her head, not in refusal, but in disbelief. She finally manages, "Yes, yes, Justin, yes." The congregation erupts, clapping, shouting, praising, crying. Women fan themselves. Men nod proudly. Kids cheer without knowing why. Pastor Jenkins lifts his hands. Well, glory be to God. Justin stands, slipping the ring onto her finger with hands that are steady only because his heart is sure. Carla falls into his arms, crying into his shoulder, and he holds her like he's been waiting his whole life for this moment. In the pews, the Hastings are crying, laughing, hugging each other. Mrs. Johnson is wiping her eyes with a tissue she pulled from her bra. Jared is jumping up and down shouting, "My mama getting married." The whole church feels like it's glowing. Just then Mrs. Johnson, all the Hastings, and the kids join them at the altar. Carla looks up and sees all of them coming towards her. Then she sees Lila, Tim, Amy, and Eric. Now she can no longer control her tears. Pastor Jenkins asks her how she feels, taking a moment to remember she's in church and not to cuss. Justin, holding his breath at her answer, says, "I feel like a sissy with all this crying." Everyone laughs with understanding. Pastor Jenkins says a prayer over them all, then dismisses church. The moment after, Justin pulls back just enough to look at her. She's crying, laughing, glowing, overwhelmed. He whispers, "You ready to go home, fiancé?" She laughs through her tears and whispers back to him in his ear, "Oh, hell yes. I've been ready." Justin laughs and just shakes his head. "Come on, woman. Let me get you off your feet." After church, they all gathered at a Chinese buffet. Because their group was so large, they were placed in a dining room away from the main crowd. Everyone has gotten their food, and grace was said. Then the real conversations began, everyone teasing Carla about her surprise engagement. They laughed over and over until their sides hurt. She would glance over at Justin from time to time and give him that deep smile, her eyes watering up at the same time. Her mama sees her and catches her eye and mouth. "Baby, you deserve a happy." Carla nods her head in agreement. Carla now in her 7th month, still working when someone at the table asked her when she would stop working. Justin knew this was going to be a touchy subject. Went quiet and listened. "Carla, I haven't really thought about it. I guess until my wheels fall off, and I can't take the standing anymore." Another asked, "What about after the baby and the wedding?" "Carla, the normal time, 6 weeks." Mr. and Mrs. Hastings looked at each other. Their position is after the wedding. Carla should be a stay-at-home mom. Justin could afford it. Being corporate wife would be another role. However, Carla didn't see it that way at all. "After my 6 weeks, I'll be back at my kitchen table giving everybody hell. Just like I always do." Some laughed while someone quiet. Justin knew this was going to be their first real argument. This is where the real conflict sits. Justin assumed, without asking. Carla hears that assumption as a threat to her independence. "Justin, I don't have a problem. I just thought maybe you want to stay home, at least for a while. My mom did. Most women in my family did." Carla, "Justin, I'm not most women in your family, and I'm not your mama." He winces, not because she's wrong, but because she's right. "Justin, I know that. I'm not trying to compare you. I can take care of us. You wouldn't have to stress yourself out." "Carla, working don't stress me out. Sitting still does." She steps closer, voice steady but firm. "Carla, look, I love you. I love this baby. But I'm not built to sit in some big house all day waiting for you to come home. That's not me. That's never been me." Justin rubs the back of his neck, trying to find the right words. "Justin, I just want what's best for you, for the baby." Carla, "And I want what's best for me, too. And that includes my work, my voice, my space, my table." There's a beat of silence, not angry, just heavy. They set the wedding date after the baby is born. Amy sends out a formal announcement of the engagement. The local newspaper has a field day. The board in uproar. The Hastings have their opinions. Mrs. Johnson watches quietly in the background. Carla and Justin are caught in the middle. The local newspaper treats the announcement like a juicy headline instead of a celebration. They lean into the timeline, baby first, wedding later, and the tone is half scandal, half society gossip. They print photos of Justin at corporate events, a flattering but slightly intrusive photo of Carla, a timeline of events leading up to the engagement, quotes from anonymous sources about company optics. It's not cruel, but it's sensational enough to stir the pot. The board's reaction, uproar and whispered panic. The board members, already rattled from Justin's announcement in the meeting, now feel exposed. The newspaper makes them look like they're losing control of their CEO's narrative. Their reactions fall into 3 camps. The traditionalists, this is embarrassing. A CEO should be married before a baby. The pragmatists, we need a PR strategy immediately. The quietly supportive few, it's his life, let the man be happy. Emails fly. Phone calls are made. A few even suggest postponing major deals until the optics settle. Justin hears all of it. The newspapers, the board, his parents, Carla, and his heart. He needs some unbiased advice. So he turns to the one person who understands both sides, Mrs. Johnson. It's Saturday morning. He lets Carla and Jared sleep in. He calls Mrs. Johnson and asks her out for breakfast. They go Maxinez. Mrs. Johnson is excited about spending time with her future son-in-law. Once inside and at the table, they ordered and their talk began. Mrs. Johnson: "Okay, baby, what's on your mind?" Justin: he leans back in his chair and spills his guts. "The board's upset. My parents are upset. The newspaper's making it look like we're reckless. And Carla, she's so sure of herself. So sure what she wants. I didn't expect all this." Mrs. Johnson nods once, slow and knowing. "And what exactly did you expect, Justin?" He hesitates. "I thought after the baby, after the wedding, she'd want to stay home. That she'd want the same kind of life my mama had. I didn't think she'd want to go back to work so soon." Mrs. Johnson doesn't flinch. She doesn't soften it either, because that's what you're used to. Justin looks down at his tea. Yeah, she understands it all. Mrs. Johnson's truth, delivered gently but firmly. She folds her hands on the table. "Justin, let me tell you something about my daughter. Carla has been working since she was old enough to stand on a stool and stir a pot. She's always had a job, always had a purpose, always had a place where her voice mattered." She leans in slightly. "You take that away from her, even by accident, and she'll feel like she's disappearing." Justin swallows hard. "I don't want her to disappear." "I know you don't," she says. "But you assumed she'd want the life your mama had. And baby, your mama had a husband who wanted that too. Carla has a man who fell in love with her fire. Don't you dare put that fire out." He nods, absorbing it. Mrs. Johnson continues. "You're caught between two worlds right now. Your family's expectations and the woman you chose. But let me tell you something important. A marriage only works when both people get to be themselves." She taps the table lightly. Carla's self includes that kitchen, that work, that pride. And if you love her, and I know you do, you got to make room for all of that. There's one other option you might want to consider. It will help your tax bracket too. It might quiet the board and keep your socialite crowd happy too. Justin raised his eyebrows. "I'm listening. Ask Carla to quit, but also ask her to volunteer in the kitchen. She can come in and help whenever and however she wants. She can be at home with the baby too. This opens up her position for someone who really needs a job, gives her space. And when asked by the socialites about what she does, her answer will simply be, 'I volunteer in the kitchen at my husband's company.' She can handle unruly customers and keep everybody happy." The thought pleases him and terrifies him at the same time. He remembers how he came to know her in the first place. Because she told a customer he had pretty-ass eyes. He chuckles to himself, but a weight is lifted off his shoulders at the same time. He reaches across the table and gives her the biggest hug and tells her she is a genius. Back home now with Carla and Jared, he brings in a breakfast takeout for them both. Jared's eyes the pancakes and go bonkers. Carla eyes it all and digs in, almost before Justin can get it warmed up. Carla is stuffing her face so fast. Even Jared stops and takes a second look. Jared: "Mama, you okay?" Carla doesn't even look up. "Carla, a mouthful, 'I'm pregnant, baby.' Mind your business." Justin tries not to laugh, but he's failing miserably. He sets a warm plate in front of her anyway, even though she's already halfway through the first one. Justin: "Carla, you want to slow down a little?" She glares at him like he suggested she give away her firstborn. Carla: "Justin, if you don't just let me eat." Justin looks at her, and he puts his hands up immediately. "Say less. My bad." Jared nods in agreement, still guarding his plate. Jared: "Yeah, Mr. Justin, don't mess with her food. She's scary right now." Carla points her fork at him. Carla: "Keep talking. I'll eat yours too." Jared gasps and cradles his plate. Justin now thinking that he might want to go back to Maxinez and reorder another round of food. After Carla devoured breakfast, Justin sits down in front of Carla and hits her with it. "I want you to quit working." She freezes, looks up slow, eyes narrow. Jared stops mid-chew again, sensing danger like a small woodland creature. Carla swallows hard, sets her fork down with exaggerated calm, and gives Justin that look, the one that says she is 2 seconds from lighting him up. Before she can speak, Justin lifts both hands. Justin, but hear me out first. Carla snaps her mouth shut, crosses her arms over her chest, and leans back like she's giving him exactly one chance to not ruin his life. Carla, I'm listening. Justin begins. I want you to quit, but volunteer in the kitchen whenever and however you want. This way you can stay at home with the baby, when need be, and be with Jared during the summer months. You can also consider going back to school and learning business management, culinary arts, hospitality, or something completely different. Anything you want to learn or become, I'll support it. All of it. Carla's expression softens, but she's still guarded. Justin leans closer. He pauses, letting the words settle. I'm not trying to take your fire, Carla. I'm trying to give you room to grow it. She looks at him long and hard, trying to decide if he's serious or just saying what he thinks she wants to hear. Jared watches them both like it's the season finale of his favorite show. Carla finally speaks, voice quieter than before. So, you're not telling me to stay home and be barefoot and pregnant? Justin, no. I'm telling you I want you to have choices. Real ones. Not the ones my family expects. The ones you want. Smiling, even though that last part, I can live with too. At least I think I can. I might rethink that after seeing the way you inhaled that breakfast. Carla freezes. Jared freezes. Even the baby kicks like he said, "What?" Carla slowly lowers her fork, eyes narrow with that dangerous, amused, "Boy, you better be careful" look. Carla fires back. She wipes her mouth with the back of her hand, not the napkin in her hand, and leans in. Carla, oh, so now you got jokes? You want to talk about inhaling? 'Cause I watched you take down half a rack of ribs last night, like you were in a competition. Jared snorts. Try not to laugh. Justin holds up both hands. I'm just saying, I didn't know you could eat faster than Jared. Jared gasps, offended. Hey! Carla points her fork at Justin again. Keep talking. I'll inhale your plate next. Justin's smile softens. The teaser was real, but the love underneath it is louder. He reaches across the table, brushing her wrist lightly. Baby, I'm joking, but I meant what I said. I want you to have choices. Your choices. And I want to build a life where you don't have to give up any part of yourself to fit into mine. Carla's face softens, the fire settling into something warm and steady. All of a sudden, Carla bolts to the bedroom in tears. Justin and Jared look at each other. Like, what did I say? Jared's eyes are huge. Jared, what did you do? Justin blinks, stunned. Me? I was being nice. Jared squints, suspicious. Mama don't cry when people being nice. Justin rubs his forehead. Well, she doesn't cry when people are being mean either. Jared shrugs. She pregnant. Justin sighs, defeated. Yeah, that explains absolutely everything and nothing at the same time. Jared nods like a wise old man. Jared, you should go check on her. Justin hesitates. Me? She your mama. Jared gives him a look that is pure Carla. I ain't even going there. Justin takes a breath, stands, trying to show Jared he's not scared. He's a man, even though he really is, and heads toward the bedroom. Slow, cautious, like he's approaching a wild animal he loves but doesn't fully understand. Justin walks in the bedroom and finds Carla lying in the bed, curled up like a baby squirrel, shoulders shaking, hands covering her face, sobbing, crying that comes from being overwhelmed. Justin steps into the doorway and stops because the sight of her hits him in the chest. This isn't anger. This is an attitude. This is vulnerability she never lets anyone see. If you are still enjoying Carla and Justin's journey, stay tuned for the moment in this series. Part 4. Don't forget to like and subscribe.